Frank's Red Hot is the perfect blend of flavor and heat, so you can use an entire bottle to make recipes like buffalo chicken dip or buffalo nachos, or even things that don't start with buffalo. Frank's Red Hot, I put that on everything.
Hey, Craig.
It's all on you, it's all on me. Can't you see? It's all on you, it's all on me. You and me, can't you? It's all on you, it's all on me. Hey, Craig. Right or wrong, we don't care. Win or lose, we don't care. We don't care. We don't care. We don't
Hey, Jeff.
Woo.
We're getting so close to actual football to talk about. Like next week, we actually get to talk about previewing a game,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. As I've said before, it's both it's good and bad because I'm very excited.
No shit,
football
not
season
next
coming.
week. The week after. My bad.
Yeah, it's fine. Whatever. Close enough. The reality
I
is
just desperately want it to be.
Yeah. I know. I'm like it's both like happy because we got 2 weeks. I've been spending the last couple of days planning out like our big ass Cougs Center preview that we do every year, which involves usually about at least a dozen stories on the football team. This year we're mixing in some soccer and some volleyball. We're making it kind of a fall sports preview, which I'm very excited about because, as we will talk about later, soccer and volleyball are both worthy of the attention. And so I've been doing that, and it's exciting because I'm like, yeah, this is the fun part of the year with the website after the, we kind of have, once basketball season ends, it's kind of this long stretch of not a ton of fun, like baseball, it's okay, but it's like, it's all on the back burner. But then I flip around and I go, that means I got to go back to work. Like, it's so close that I have to go back to work. Like, I like this so much better when my boss pays me to not come to work. Like,
That sounds great. Yeah.
Whatever.
That's
it is. It is great.
the
I'm very
dream.
thankful for it. I don't want to sound ungrateful. I'm very grateful, but I'd be happier if I could just do this in perpetuity. But that's not how things work.
Yeah.
Alas.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I blame my parents for not being mega rich and giving me a trust fund.
Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah.
assholes.
What the fuck? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is Podcast versus Everyone episode, as Jeff has written on screen, 100 and nice, 169.
I thought that was clever.
Very clever.
It probably wasn't. It probably
did
wasn't
you-
that clever. But
Did you come up with that yourself? That 69 is nice because that is that like a reference to the sexual position?
yeah. I've heard the kids talk about it.
Oh,
The kids.
yeah. I mean, I've heard it from experience. It's kind of overrated, to be honest. Like it just makes it difficult to do everything. Just take turns. It's fine. That's the bluest part of the podcast I'll ever do. Hey, this is Craig Powers.
One of us is a newlywed, apparently.
With me, as always, is Jeff Newser.
Woo! I'm blushing over here. That's me. That's me.
We just and so many people had to rush and turn off their fucking radio. Just
Yeah. Sorry, kids. I know my oldest son, my 15-year-old, listens to the podcast, so I'm eagerly anticipating the questions that I get from him after he listens to this.
Should we restart? Maybe I should.
No. Nope.
Hey, you put
I can
the
come back in a
explicit-
couple weeks.
This podcast gets explicit every.
It does.
It always gets the E
It
rating
does.
unless we have a guest. Sometimes
Yes, it
we
does.
don't cuss, but yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
I'm like on my not even barely into a second beer. So
Football. Yeah.
Yeah. So this week we'll talk about scripture. Next week we can do our preview, our season preview, where we do our little odds and stuff. But this week we'll talk about, what I want to hear from you. I'd love to hear you kind of lay out what you think are kind of the top emerging trends from spring practice as we go into basically the last fall camp, summer camp, as we go into the last week of that. What are some emerging things that have happened that maybe will impact the season ahead?
Yeah, so I've spent a lot of time reading the practice reports from Colton Clark, who is doing a great job in his, I believe his first football season as the football writer. I don't think he was the football writer last fall, right? I think that was still Theo last fall. But at any rate, Colton's doing a great job.
It was Colton last fall.
It was Colton. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So anyway, he's doing a great job because look, practice reports are not the easiest. People probably think they're easy. They are not easy at all because nobody is actually telling you what's going on. You're just sort of like, you have a roster with numbers and binoculars usually, and you're like trying to figure out what's happening. And so he's doing a really good job, and things that are sort of standing out after kind of reading, all of his practice reports each day, seem to be a couple things. One is the offensive line is kind of a mess. That's kind of a big one. There's been some injuries. I think we talked about last week's show. Fafito has been hurt. Although the news on him has been, that he's going to be okay. But so that's your starting right tackle who's been hurt. Left guard has been seemingly an open competition between Brock Dew and Christian Hilborn. Christian Hilborn, people might remember, started at right tackle during the Sun Bowl and played quite poorly. So those two have been battling at left guard. It seems that they think Hilborn is the guy that they kind of want there. He's a little bit more, prototype size, a big kid, seems fairly athletic. Dew is kind of a smaller guy. I think he's like 6'3", 285. So by, Pac-12 lineman standards, that's pretty small. But Dew has been hurt. And so Hilborn sort of like was defaulting into first team reps at left guard. Well, lo and behold, apparently he wasn't doing a great job because now they have a converted defensive lineman, and I cannot remember his name. I know he's one of our recruits from Samoa, so that may be why his name escapes me at the moment. But he is now working with the ones at left guard. So if that gives you any indication of sort of the state of the offensive line. So that's a little bit tenuous, a little bit scary. The second unit is made up almost exclusively of freshmen. So that's kind of where we're at with the offensive line after sort of years of neglect. I don't want to get too far of a tangent on that, but that is a precarious unit. So that is kind of showing up, and they are getting wrecked fairly regularly by the defensive line, which, it's the classic practice thing. Is one side bad or the other side good, or or what is one side? It's just like what's actually good, right? But the defensive line is wrecking shop, and I think we all sort of believe that the defensive line is pretty good. At least that's a good thing.
At least from a rushing, passer perspective.
Yes, and it seems like so Virginia transfer Nusi Milani seems to be throwing his weight around both literally and figuratively from the tackle position. As they seem to have wanted to get a little bit lighter on the inside. Milani's not a huge guy. He's almost more of the kind of guy you might see playing like a 3 technique or something in like a 3-man, 5-man front, like that sort of deal, like a 3-4 situation. He's kind of in between. He's not not as big as a nose guard, but certainly not as light as an edge. And so they're playing him, and he seems to be doing good stuff. So defensive line, that emerging part is they look good, and I believe that's legit. Wide receivers are explosive. They look like they are every bit of the 2 deep. Cam Ward seems to, as you would expect, have a strong command of the offense. And, defensively, they seem to be trending toward, something that's real good. The newcomers, Lee, the safety, has locked down the strong safety spot and appears to be really, really good there. And then the linebackers, Henley, the other Nevada transfer, has locked down Jihad Woods' old spot. And then they're kind of trying to figure out who's going to end up in the middle. So, yeah, I think those are kind of the big thing. Oh, running back. I didn't mention running back. Running back's a disaster.
Yeah.
Nakia Watson's been hurt, but even when he hasn't been hurt, he's just been not very impressive. Javensky Schlenbaker, as you might expect of a true freshman, is, faced a pretty steep learning curve. The one guy who's impressed the most has been Jenkins. He's a freshman from Texas. Super fast, ran for 100 and some yards in the scrimmage on Saturday on like 9 carries. So that's really good. And, again, as somebody said on Cougs Center, like, it's does that mean we're not fast on defense? And I would tend to say, I might feel that way if every running back was ripping them up, but, maybe just one guy doing it makes you think that, maybe
just be a couple,
there's something to it. So
couple of lapses, like 1 or 2 lapses. We don't know exactly how those 100 yards came to be,
Well, they were almost all big plays. Like that was what was. He had like 3 or 4 runs of 20+ yards. So
at least they weren't 80.
He was constantly No, but I think they were operating on a short field a few times too. So, but anyway, so that's kind of the big things. It's offensive line stinks. Running back I shouldn't say that. Offensive line is questionable.
A question mark.
The running backs are questionable. Defensive line seems to be potentially top notch, especially since RJ Stone hasn't even played yet. He's been sitting out. And the defense seems to be, I think, pretty good. So
RJ Stone's got.
That's where we're at so far. So, Yes. They're just working it back slowly. He had some sort of, undisclosed injury and whatever you want to take that to mean.
Well, hopefully he gets back and wrecks some Idaho Vandals. From all of that, it's just we kind of got the sense through Dickert, his first go round, and that he does have the ability to, we saw he improved defenses before, and we hope that, and we saw the similar system in Nevada and all that. But so we were hoping that, they could improve the defense. And so he brought in a guy who, had a similar system and everything. So we're hoping that defense can be something that is, average to above average. And it seems like they have at least in the starters to be that. They brought in some good transfers. That's nice to hear they're having an impact. Hopefully it's not just because our offense sucks or something,
Yeah.
But it's nice that they brought in those transfers because they plugged some obvious holes. I mean, those were obvious, outside linebacker, interior lineman, safety. Those are huge areas that WC needed. So it's the defense. You just get the sense that it's going to be okay and not ruin everything, much like last year. So if it can, and then sometimes have insane turnover games where they completely win a game just by being opportunistic. And honestly, I'm excited. I love watching aggressive defenses. Like it's rare at WSU we've had just defenses where they just like maul people. We've had it a couple times, obviously. But if you're looking back the last 30 years or something, like there's maybe 2 or maybe 3 defenses that did that. But if absent of that, having a defense that's just aggressive is fun to watch, and especially with an aggressive offense too. So on the offense, that's the thing. Like we know Cam's good. and like you said, the receivers, maybe we were hoping they were good. Sounds like they are. Sounds like some of the guys that haven't played that much have lots of talent. So that's great. But because even the guys that were coming back, had talent, and it really seemed that Ollie and Stribling were kind of taking some steps forward towards the end of the year last year. So that's good. But then you got to, it's just, running back is, we saw with the air raid, a running back can have, a dynamic impact, especially if you have a couple of them.
Yep.
And so that's scary. Because we also saw when the running back doesn't do much, like in maybe 2014, 2013, that puts a lot on the quarterback to make plays, and
Yep.
a lot on the receivers to make big plays out of those screen passes and stuff, and
Yep.
or make big plays out of mesh and things like that, or the short, easy stuff. So that scares you, and then you add on that we don't know. We still, like I said last week, you still think back to that first half of the Sun Bowl, without Lucas and Ryan, and how it was just an utter disaster. And
Yep.
you think, God, like, are we in line for that again? With injuries, and if there's any more injuries, like you said, it's all freshmen basically, and the two deep, that's terrifying. If there's anywhere where it's tough to have freshmen play, it's especially the offensive line.
Yep.
So that's scary. So, and then, we've talked about this a bit, but where, like, if you're looking at the offensive line, like, how does it impact your outlook of the team right now? Like, an outlook of how good they can be, knowing that the offensive line could be, let's say for the nice, like, maybe below average.
Yeah.
Like, how does that impact the team?
Hugely, because I look at Cam Ward and I go, yeah, stud, right? Like, I think he's absolutely a stud. Even like some of the stuff I've seen, like some of the video they've released, I just like, dude, I think is a stud. Receivers, studs. I think Dejon Stribling is one of the like sleepers to be an all Pac-12 kind of guy this year. I think people, better wake up on him a little bit, because I think he, just kind of watching him last year, he reminded me so much of like Marquise Wilson. Just kind of real smooth.
Yeah.
Just has a knack for getting open, great hands. And really he just needed to, like, mature a little bit physically, and, now he's, had an entire year, right, of weight training and food and all that stuff. And so I'm super excited to see what he can do. I think Ollie is a nice compliment. I think he's very similar to, if we're comparing guys, very similar to Desmond Patman type, but I think he's even inclined to be a little bit more physical than Desmond was. And so I love him. And the inside receivers, Renard Bell, we know what he can do. He can flat fly. Lincoln Victor, I think is really, really, really good. And in fact, again, another one of those, like, man, people, it's just a guy who can just not talking about enough.
And because he's just a guy that can make spectacular plays. He can make ridiculous things, and he's so shifty, and he's got great body control. He makes really tough catches. He doesn't, maybe the key thing that keeps him off the field a bit is his size and stuff, but for an inside receiver in the air raid, man, he is built for that.
Yep. And Orion Peters, redshirt freshman, he's been making noise as a second string guy. Cyan Nunnally, again, second string outside, backup outside. Again, he's been making noise. So I feel great about all of that. So what's the one thing that could undermine all that? Right? It's if Ward doesn't get any time to throw. And, man, I'm kind of looking at this line and I'm just thinking, man, like I'm not even sure if they're going to be serviceable, like average, which is kind of what maybe we need. And if they're not, I'm kind of leaning toward, man, it really might just sort of undermine everything else they're trying to do. And especially if they have, and they're kind of the other thing I'm factoring in is, man, are they going to be 100% healthy all year? Like that's, if you're going, Fafita and then Stevens and then Gomez and then whoever at left guard and then Kingston at left tackle. If you're telling me that those 4 guys plus whoever's at left guard start every game, I'd be like, we'll probably be all right. But it's like, man,
how often does that happen for an offensive line?
Yeah, I mean, Fafita gets hurt, and you've got a 6'11" converted basketball player playing right tackle. Like, no shade toward Jack Wilson, but it's like I don't know how great I feel about that, right? And then with left guard, like, man, they have tried everything possible seemingly to hand it to Hilborn, and he hasn't taken it yet, and so that doesn't make you feel great either. So. Yeah, how often do the same guys start every game? So it makes me think that, this could potentially be a really maybe a top 3 offense in the Pac-12 that might end up being like 6 or 7 or 8 because the line maybe isn't good enough. And then that is really going to put a lot of pressure on the defense to be good. And, I am trying to talk myself into the idea that this could be a defense forward team. I think that's actually a legit possibility.
Yeah. And we saw, even with, there's a quarterback that, he knows the offense and that helps. There's a lot of guys that are and even Cam Ward has mentioned that, like, they're learning the offensive stuff. Like, so there's a bit of learning curve with air raid, and it's not like there's many guys besides Bell that are left over from the air raid days. So it's, there's some things that you have to learn. And so even with that, like, you kind of have to temper your expectations, even with all the talent and wide receiver and quarterback. And then you add in the offensive line, and you hope it's not as bad as 2012, 2013 offensive line. But injuries could do that, and we saw that happen those years too. But so it takes, like, you really need, like, if you think this team has like an 8-win ceiling, which I think probably, if everything goes right, 8, maybe 9 wins. It depends on how good everyone else is. If a lot goes right, whatever, everything goes right, it's 15-0 national champions, whatever. But if you think, offensive line plays well, defense is what we think, but whatever, like 8-win team. But if the offensive line just falls apart, like, that could take, the offense is scoring 7 to 10 less points a game or whatever.
Yeah,
that takes it down 3 wins. That's 8 to 5 pretty quick. Especially a team that played a lot of close games. Like, it's just, oh man, like, it's you gotta hope they're just better than we think. I don't know. And maybe the defensive line is that fucking good. Like, they're just, because if they are, so. hell yeah. And,
and I don't think we're talking about. I don't think we're really talking about the days of Palouse Posse and the offense they had going, where it was like, you needed to win games 10-7, that kind of thing. But it's, like you said, how many points does it take off your ceiling as an offense to have throws going out? And I have a lot of confidence in Cam Ward that he's not going to take a ton of sacks. He gets rid of the ball real quickly. He knows where it's supposed to go. That's a huge advantage having him there. And also something I've seen on like highlights is he's really, really good throwing on the run, like really good. So those things are all good, but it's like, man, as we know from the air raid, if you don't get enough time for those patterns to develop, then defenses can just really sit on the short stuff. And man, that just makes life very, very, very difficult.
the drop 8.
Yes.
Yeah. If you can, that was teams that could get pressure with 4 and drop the rest back, or get pressure with 3 and drop the rest back. Just absolute nightmare. It's a nightmare for any team, but
Yep.
a team that's throwing the ball 70% of the time, even more so.
Yep.
So yeah, although I don't know if we're not going to hit them Leach passing numbers in terms of percentage. I don't think, but no one ever comes close to Leach in terms of percentage of passes on play. So, but we'll still probably be in the top 5. So we'll be high up there. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So that's your football report.
Football report. Come on. Be good. Let's go. Going to your first 5 games all in a row. Let's have some fun.
Yeah. That should be fun.
Yeah. It's going to be exhausting, dude. I'm already I'm exhausted thinking about it.
Yeah.
And not like we've had exactly a relaxing summer. It's going to be.
No.
Oh, man. Yeah. So that's current football players. I will say I don't know if this picture on PJ, or what do experts think of WC's preseason win total? Is that from this year of Stribling, or is that from last year?
I'm not sure which picture you're looking at.
It's on PJ's. What do the experts think of WC's preseason?
Oh, that would have been a spring. That would be a spring ball picture.
Well, even from spring ball, Stribling looked like he's added some weight.
Yeah.
So, he had a whole summer of doing nothing but weightlifting too. So, yeah, that'd be fun to see him break out. Yeah. So if we look at kind of, players, in the pros, obviously we had some guys go to the pros, the most prominent, Abe Lucas. And by all reports, he had a solid game with the Seahawks last weekend against the Steelers. So that's great to hear. He definitely seems like a guy who could play as a rookie. He's got the size, he's got the athletic ability. So and it'd be really fun as a Coug fan and also a Seahawks fan to see that happen.
Yeah, he played more snaps than anybody on the team in the game. He played virtually the entire game. He didn't start the game, I guess, but came in on the third or fourth series. And then I think he played pretty much the rest of the way. So, yeah, he got lots and lots of run and was singled out for some praise from a number of people. So that's really good because, as we know, the Seahawks need all the help they can get on the offensive line. So yeah, he was good.
Does he also play quarterback?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he could try because they need one.
What are you talking about? They have 2.
Oh God. Yeah, sure they do. Technically.
With starting experience. Come on.
Yeah. He did Abe did have one super highlight where he just absolutely pancaked a dude. It's pretty fantastic. So
love to see that.
Yeah. He was good.
Yeah, I hope he's getting his run blocking down. He did a lot of pass blocking in his time at WSU. Yeah.
Well, like I said, he absolutely manhandled a guy on one block. So that was a run block where he just pancaked a guy. So hopefully get more of that.
Yeah. Less good news. Max Borghi got released by the Broncos, which sucks. So you kind of wonder, he's still got a chance to end up somewhere.
Yep.
Running back is always it's a tough slug. There's a lot of running backs. There's still not a lot of value placed on running backs in the NFL. Unless you're like a Saquon Barkley type level talent. So it's going to be, hopefully Max can get another chance. Hopefully he can find an offense that works for him. Maybe an offense that likes to use the running back in the passing game a lot. I don't know if he ever, maybe he's, can kick return, whatever. But it sucks, because it's another time where, it's even worse this time, but because I think Max could have made some NIL money in his in this year with that kind of more setup and but he obviously could have come back to WSU. WSU's last kind of running back with a chance at the NFL was Boobie Williams. He could have come back to WSU. His is a very different scenario. He had a family. He need to make some money. But with Max, it's like he could have made money in school. But he also had the injury issues and everything. And he already, he's already here 4 years and all that. So you're like, yeah, go make a shot, go take a shot at it. But it's kind of, you watch a guy in college and you kind of think he's going to have more value in the NFL. But it's, it's tough. When those cuts come in this time, when they cut down to 85, then they cut down to something like 70 or something, then they cut down to 53. So he didn't even make it to the next cut after that. So hopefully that's a blessing and he can have more time to catch on somewhere.
Yeah, it's funny. I was having a conversation with our high school football coach tonight, and we were kind of joking about how Division I athletes are just different, right? And a lot of like parents and players, and they kind of maybe don't understand just kind of how special of an athlete you need to be a D1 scholarship player. And the same principle holds true for the NFL. Where it's like, we look at these guys in college and we go, wow, he's really good. He could be an NFL player. And it's like, yes, well, but like everyone's like that in the NFL. And we talked a little bit about Borghi, last season about some of the stuff that maybe wasn't as, as strong as we would like it to be. He wasn't, typically real solid running in between the tackles. Seemed to, bounce outside a lot, sort of some of those kinds of things. And, it's real tough to make it in the NFL, man. And, he didn't get drafted and, he ended up signing late there with Denver and had a real short time to try and pick some stuff up. And, he just didn't get it done. So hopefully maybe he showed enough that somebody's willing to sign him to a practice squad or maybe add him to their roster right now as they are, trimming things up and moving stuff around. And I just hope he gets a shot, man. It's, it's always people lament like, man, he should have stuck around for another year. And it's like, it's you got to think about all the things. Okay. Number one, he was on campus for 4 years, 2 of which were in a pandemic. Right. So, you talk to any of the students who went to school at this time and it was shitty. It was not fun. It just was not fun. And okay. So he went through that. And then, like if you've got your degree, like, I know after 4 years, I was ready to go.
Too,
yeah, goes through 2 coaching changes. Like, he's recruited by Mike Leach, plays briefly for, Nick Rolovich, and then ends up with Jake Dickard. And it's like, so I know after 4 years, I was ready to leave campus. Like I was ready to go get on with my life. Like, even if it doesn't work out for him, sometimes there's an element of just, being ready to get on with your life. And also people, I don't think, quite put enough and I know it's really hard because nobody really has experience, but man, being a football player is hard. It's punishing, it hurts. Like it's not easy, man. And it's like it's easy for us to say, yeah, just play for another year. And it's like, but this is a guy who had, for all intents and purposes, had a broken back, right?
Right.
and recovered from that. And, so maybe he was just, ready to go see what he could do in the NFL. And, if it doesn't work out, I'll be bummed out for him that it didn't work out. But, I'm also not going to, yes, I would love to have him in Pullman this year. Don't get me wrong on that. But, if he was ready to move on, I just hope it works out for him. And I hope he gets a shot. I hope he was able to hang on with somebody. And sometimes it takes time. River Craycraft's a great example of that. Like he was, for his first season, it took really until his second year before he latched on with somebody a little bit. Guys who are committed to really sticking with it can figure out a way to.
It took him years to actually get on the field, consistently. So, you just got to find that opportunity. And as long as you keep at it, you can. It seems like Borghi will keep at it. I feel like he's a guy that will continue to try to make it. He's definitely a guy with the talent to make plays, even in the NFL. Like he's quick, he's smart. He picks up offenses. He's just a guy that can do that, and so you hope he can do it. And I know that he's kind of like a Cougar favorite, so like it'd be great for WSU fans to be able to watch him on Sunday. I know that whenever there's a Coug that does something well in the pros, like it's really fun to watch. That one year we had with Gardner, like was pretty fun and all that. Yep. It's always fun to it's fun when Craycraft he got a catch, whatever, and we've even though we've had a lot of success lately, there hasn't been a ton of guys that have had big success in the NFL, which is kind of weird. With all the success we have with Leach, there aren't a lot of like guys that have had like long sustained success in the league. There's been some injuries and stuff in certain situations that have ruined that, but this is not those like, part of that goes back. These guys aren't coming in like 5-star athletes to begin with, and so they're kind of just working their tails off to become great football players, and then they're continuing to have to do that to try to make it in the NFL. We've seen some success, like Patman has had some good stuff, and obviously Gardner had some good stuff, but there's it's just given how successful the football team has been, you haven't seen that translate to the pros quite as much. But yeah, it's hopefully he's gets another chance. We saw Aesop Whitston. He got cut. He's been trying that's his second year trying to catch on. But he seemed to he caught a game-winning touchdown pass with the Saints.
Yeah,
and then they cut him. So now he's latched on with the Browns. So hopefully, he can find his way with that stellar franchise.
You just need one team to value you, man. Like that's really all it comes down to, is you just need one team to be like, and that's we talked about River Craycraft, same thing. Like basically the Denver Broncos and then the 49ers, saw some value in him, and that's really what you need.
And I will say it was, that touchdown catch, the game-winning touchdown that Winston had was like pretty fucking classic Aesop. Like he just totally roasted a dude off the line, and then ran a perfect route and caught the ball. Hands like glue. Can't not bothered by the moment or anything. So that's kind of a bummer. You probably think you feel pretty good. You make this big touchdown catch, and then a few days later, it's back to square one. But luckily, he signed on quick and claimed off waivers or whatever by the Browns. So hopefully, the Browns really liked what they saw, and he'll get like a real good chance and hopefully get into that 53-man roster, or at least latch onto a practice squad so he can stick with the team. Just I want guys to root for in the NFL. That's fun. We got Clay in the NBA, and we had Baines for a bit, and we always follow Ellaby, and it's just fun to have that. You know, that you always have that thing to like root for outside of like your primary team or whatever. So yeah, and hopefully, you know, Abe is just good on the Seahawks, and that's like when we had Trufant on the Seahawks. That was always fun because like he was really good and he was a Coug, so that was the best.
Yeah. Some other guys like Daniel Isom had a game-sealing interception playing.
Yeah.
You know, so that was cool. I'm
This
trying
kid's
to think
making
of
plays.
who else.
Kid's
Yeah, I'm
making
trying to think. There was
plays.
somebody else who made a play too, and now I can't remember who. But yeah, seems like people are doing okay. I don't know. Let me look at PJ.
And
PJ had a roundup here.
And then I guess Isom survived the cuts though, because I don't see anything about him getting cut. So
Yeah,
that's good.
yeah, that was good. I guess Travell Harris got a tackle, so I'm guessing he was playing on special teams. Jarrett, that was the one. Jarrett Garantano, man. Threw a touchdown.
I know.
How?
Our guy.
Yeah, never doubted him at all. Absolutely believed in him.
That just shows quarterback, if you're big and you have a big arm, you will get a
Somebody
chance.
in the NFL will give you a chance.
You will
I know.
get a
He
chance.
played all those games in the SEC, and
Yeah.
which it's crazy to me that Jared Garantano, you know, and like Anthony Gordon is still out there somewhere, and
Yeah.
it's just like, come on, man. And Calvin Jackson, that was the other one. Calvin Jackson caught a touchdown pass at the end of the game. His game-winning touchdown pass.
That's
for
what
the
it was.
Jets,
It was
so.
Jackson, not fucking Winston.
Yeah. So
My
how about
bad.
that?
It was
Yeah.
Jackson. My bad. I totally was like, it was Jackson that caught the touchdown pass. My bad.
Yeah. So, yeah. Oh, and Isom's with the Rams. But
There was people screaming at their fucking whatever, their phone or whatever, while I was describing Winston's touchdown, and then it was
Yeah.
actually Jackson's touchdown. You should have interrupted
well.
me, man. Come on.
They'll get over it. I thought maybe you knew something I didn't. I was like,
No, I
okay.
just
So-
had a fucking watching random highlights and forgot which player I was watching, I guess.
Yeah.
But it was a Calvin Jackson, very similar qualities to Aesop Winston, roasting
True.
a dude off the line and making the catch. Obviously, hands like glue as well.
Yes.
Well, fuck, I'm embarrassed, man. This has been a stellar podcast for me so far. But yeah.
Well, people know this show is shit, so it's
I know.
fine.
Yeah.
That was the
Woohoo.
like they know what they're getting when they tune in.
At least we can issue an immediate correction, like in the episode, like 2 minutes later.
Yeah. Should we take a break and then drink some beer, or talk about the beer that we're drinking?
We don't tell them that we're going to do that. We hide that, and we tell them that we're going to talk about.
Never mind. We're definitely not talking about beer.
We're going to talk about other stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You're talking about Jeff. All right, let's go to break.
Yeah. Okay. We're back.
Yeah, we're going to talk about beer.
Oh, no way. Wow.
So Jeff, what are you drinking?
Yeah. I am having a Plainsman Lager by Structures Brewing.
Yep.
Solid lager.
Good label.
It's got the Yep. Yeah, it does have a great label. It's got like, you know, a guy on a horse with a setting sun, and yeah. Quality label. Solid beer. Very refreshing on a night where I went running. So yeah. It's a good choice tonight. What about you?
Oh, you didn't have a lot to say about it. I think it's a very good lager.
No. Yeah.
It's easy drinking. Just basically in the style of a light American lager, but without any of the kind of residual sweetness or anything. It's very tasty.
Yeah.
Very, very good cold when it's super cold. Excuse me. Yeah, so news about me is that I'm aside from my Floodland membership, which I'm now splitting with some people, I'm pretty much out of buying like fancy beer anymore. Like I have 850 fucking beers. I just decided I've stopped buying beer on Tavar, and I've made it I think like 2 months at this point without buying a Tavar beer on Tavar. And I resisted Fremont's anniversary barrel aged barley, golden barley wine release. Holy Mountain's back to doing in-person releases. I'm not going to go wait in line for that. So, like I'll still buy maybe a stout if I'm going to drink it, like if I'm buying it to drink it that day, but I'll probably mostly be on draft when I drink the fancy beers. So I'm just like tapping out of that, and my bank account will be so fucking happy about that. I didn't inform it I was doing this. I just wanted to see it, like realize it over the months, and it's starting to realize that. It's getting real exciting. My credit cards are kind of feeling lonely. They're like, what's going on? Haven't even bought that many hats this year either.
Ooh.
So I'm really, toning down some of those things. But I just, I got 800 plus beers in my fucking cellar. So I'm just going to start. But my problem is I hate like repeating breweries on this. So that's going to make it harder.
Yes.
But I say, fuck it. I'm just going down. I was just pulling bottles looking for something for a brewery I never had. And then this was part of the problem. I don't even remember fucking buying this beer. I don't even know I had it. I don't even know what this brewery is. I can't even tell you anything about it. So what I'm drinking, and I obviously got it on Tavar at some point. It was in a Tavar box. Yeah. So what I'm drinking is a Monday Night Brewing, which is out of Atlanta, Georgia. The Tiger That Killed My Father. It's got to be a reference that I'm not getting. I don't know.
Yeah.
The Tiger That Killed My Father, maple bourbon barrel aged. So that is where there's a bourbon barrel and it has maple syrup aged in it. If you ever had that, it's pretty good. If you ever had a bourbon barrel aged maple syrup, pretty tasty. But then they take that barrel and then age beer in it. So it's kind of like a third use, but not really. The maple kind of adds a different element to it. And so maple bourbon barrel aged, coconut, hazelnut, imperial rice stout. It has coconuts, hazelnuts, vanilla, and cinnamon in it. So it's from last year. It says 2021. Not sure exactly when it was released. It's a rye stout. Did I say that? Yeah. It's that, which makes it kind of like a little harsher, which is good because I'm wondering why, sometimes I wonder, like, why did I fucking buy this beer? I usually do not like, I usually am not a fan of maple bourbon barrel aged beers. They just don't do it for me that often. And so this, again, like, I needed to take a step back and dial it down. Like, I was already kind of trying to dial it down. Like, I wasn't buying as many of the Fremont wax bottles and stuff. But I was still buying like multiple of them. But yeah, I'm sure I'll still buy like Brews 7000 or something. I don't know. Maybe I won't. Who knows?
Maybe you won't.
But this is, the maple barrel is dominating shit. Like, it is running things in this beer. And the problem, so one of the things, like, I feel like a beer that, like, for some reason, like, you would think a bourbon barrel, maple bourbon barrel, would add like kind of a even more viscosity to a beer, but I feel like it thins them out a bit, like to the point where like it's not as good. Like you're looking for a bigger bite. It's a 13% beer. I wouldn't say it's pretty viscous, but it's like maybe, I don't know, like there's the maple barrel is like way overpowering. It's still good. Like it's sweet. It's a dessert. I'm not getting much of the coconut anymore. That's usually the first thing to go in these beers. The hazelnut a little bit on the nose. Don't taste it much. The cinnamon fucking never leaves. There's a little bit of cinnamon in there still. Vanilla, a little bit of vanilla. So there's a lot going on in this thing. It's a big boy. It's a beer that, like, I had already said, like, stop buying like big ass stouts from breweries you never heard of on Tavar because I miss so much. I wouldn't say this is that big of a miss. It's pretty good, but it's also like, why the fuck did I buy this? Like, how much did it cost? I'm gonna look now. I'm gonna live look on Tavar.
So I did find it on the Monday Night Brewing website. So I cannot find any kind of story behind the label.
I know. I tried that.
So
I wonder when I bought it. Like, I don't even know when I bought it. Like, how silly is this? Like, I even bought the Tavar Plus membership so I could get like free shipping and stuff, and I'm not even gonna use it. I'm just tapping out. Sorry, Tavar, you don't get any more of my money. I'm done. I don't need to buy IPAs from the East Coast when there's like a billion fucking IPAs over here. Same with lagers. So true. Like, I don't like, like beer, like good beer has become so prevalent everywhere that like, I'm just like, why am I doing this? Which is going to be hard because there's certain like breweries that I love that are from other places, like Revolution in Chicago, Cycle in Tampa, in St. Petersburg. So that's going to be tough to, but I've already had those breweries have come up on Tavar and I've just ignored them. I can't even find it, dude. I don't even care. Like, I'm not going to look anymore. But I just found it in a box. Like, I was just pulling, I was looking for like, it's a 500 milliliter instead of a 22 ounce or 750 milliliter. So I was like, this would be good. It's still way too much to drink on my own, but I'm going to. And I'm going to have a headache in the morning, like really big one. Yeah. That'll be fun. But yeah, it's pretty tasty. I have a lot more of the bottle to get through because I didn't pour it until just a little bit ago. So yeah. But that's the big news. Just not, obviously I'm buying beer still, like cans of beer. I'll still get the cans from different places, but I'm mostly a lager guy at this point. Like, I just want the fucking lagers, baby. I've just went full circle in my beer journey. But yeah, I'm still spending
we always find our way back home, Craig. We always find our way back home.
All right. Well, there's nothing more to say after that.
Was that more clever than 100 and nice? Was that, I don't know.
Well, I don't have a fucking super blue comment.
I did make you
on
laugh.
That one. Yeah.
I did make you laugh though.
Yep. And I'm not going to make fun of you. Oh, speaking of that, my sister got married. My sister got married. Well, speaking of that, is because Butch came to my sister's wedding. Woo! Because I brought him there.
Because you paid for it.
I haven't got that invoice yet, but I know it involved a flight. But yeah, it's and Butch did a killer job. Wore his Old Town Road Lil Nas X outfit, which was perfect. Which is just in Sickos. I tweeted out pictures of it, and Sickos committee, even commented on it, which made me pretty happy. Perfect. He showed up with a sequin jacket with no shirt, just crushing it.
It's fantastic.
Just 2 hours, so much energy the whole time, just getting everyone into things. And we did back home that Stephanie, once she knew I was getting Butch for her, she made sure to put that in there. It's all my daughter, my 4-year-old, talked about for 2 days. Like, she just like, that's all she cared about. And I'll just show her pictures. She gets excited again. Which, like, for a 2-year-old to hang on to something for more than 1 day is like pretty good.
Yes.
So she was super excited. Gigi was excited. All the other little kids there that were excited. You know, my niece, who's almost three now. Yeah. So that was really fun to see. You know, my sister was really excited. A lot of the people, you know, a lot of the adults there, super fun. So way to go, Butch. You crushed it. And, you know, I may have met a Butch performer because it was just part of the thing. So I had to show. So I feel so cool about that.
Yeah.
But it was a whole big ordeal about finding a way for Butch to kind of get in unnoticed and a place for Butch to get dressed and all that.
Yes.
Because the place that the brewery had set up involved Butch walking past the reception. And, you know, I that just wasn't going to work. And so kudos to my wife, who found out, like, this brewery was in a building where there was other businesses in the building. And there was a business next door that was closed, but you could open their door from the inside. And it led to a hallway with a bathroom in it. And then he could come out. And then that hallway was like blocked. The brewery had blocked it off with like a folding door thing. And so he could come out from there. No one would see him before he got dressed. So it was perfect. And it worked out really well. Kudos to my wife, Amanda, for coming up with that solution.
Yeah.
Because really that was for me, no offense, Stephanie, the highlight of the wedding was getting to like Butch is just there, and he's kind of like, you know, a lot of my friends and family got like pictures with him, like pictures like that, unlike you'll never. He posed with a 12-pack of Busch Light, like he did that on his own. It was just sitting there like as a prop. And he just went and grabbed it and like posed for pictures with it. So I'm really excited to see those from the photographer. So that'll be fun. And cheers to Emma, who was a last minute bridesmaid edition. That's a COVID era thing. And cheers to her for fitting in the dress perfectly of the other bridesmaids. So
yeah, how about that?
Way to go, Emma. Like that's impossible. So yeah. That was fun. You know, I had a good time, and it was really cool to just see the way my daughter looked when she saw Butch come out. That was pretty great. And I don't know, man. Butch it's funny. Like, I don't know if like maybe they do. I'm sure they do, but other schools have such an attachment to their like mascot as we do. But just there was a lot of Cougs there, probably like 50 Cougs, and everyone just got so excited when Butch came in, and he was just running the party for 2 hours. The DJ is not from Washington and stuff, but he it was funny. He came in, he kept trying to get the crowd, like at the start before Butch got there, we were telling him, you had to lead us in go Cougs. And so he kept saying, when I say go, you say Cougs. And we were all just fucking cringing. We're like, stop it. Like, stop. No one said that to him. We didn't want to be mean. We're like, no one says that, dude. Come on.
Yeah.
And so we decided, like, the first thing Butch is going to do when he comes in is he's going to lead a go Cougs chant, you know, a go Cougs call back. And so that the DJ will know that's how Go Cougs goes. And the DJ, you could see his face like, oh my God, that's how they do it. And then he never, after that, never did I say go, you say Cougs. But he did get really excited, and he asked Butch to do it a lot after that. He also played the fight song more than you would ever hear at any football game, because he would get a reaction out of us every time. Obviously, we have to stand up and we have to start clapping, like, even though we're like, this is enough, dude. This is like the 12th time in the last hour and a half. Like, it's okay. You can play other songs now. But we all dutifully stood up and sang along every time, so we gave him that positive feedback he wanted. But it was fun. We actually had drinks with him at a bar after the wedding, and he was so excited. He was like, "Thank you for bringing Butch. Like, that was so cool. Like, that was like that. It was fun to like have like another like performer at the wedding working with me." Like, he was so excited about it. So I think he ended up being more excited than anyone that Butch was there. But well, yeah. So yeah, congrats, Stephanie. She's in Ireland having the time of her life. Drinking at all the places in Dublin that Real Housewives of Orange County went to. So what could be better than that?
What could be better?
What could be better? All right. So now that we've had Power's sibling wedding report. That's a regular thing. Well, no, we're out of them now. That's it. That's all of them. Both of them got married now.
No more weddings left for you guys.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully. Come on, buddy.
Hey, we all see the stats, man. We all see this. I'm a stats guy.
Yeah,
come on.
True. That is true.
But yeah. And I'm a smartass. All right, come on, you can't set me up like that.
Also true.
Yeah. So there are probably our two premier programs. Right, well, definitely our two premier programs right now. You know, obviously you mentioned that we are going to have some soccer and volleyball coverage in our fall sports preview for the first time. I don't think we've ever previewed those teams outside of maybe Michael having the coaches on his podcast. So that's really exciting. So volleyball came in, you know, obviously they have Timmer and how do you fucking say her name? I lost that part of my brain over the summer. I don't know. It's not how it looks. Jehilarova. It's not how it looks. So two people on the All Pac-12 team, and then they came in the top 25, actually 26. So they were just on the outside. So they're peeking in on the outside, looking to make another run to the NCAA tournament. Definitely have that would be the sixth straight. I don't know. Okay, lose track. There's too many at this point.
Yeah. Something like that.
And then you have soccer coming in. They're ranked 19th in a preseason poll. I believe their highest ever. Which is, I think, just a testament. Both of these programs being, volleyball 26, soccer 19, just testaments to the two coaches and how, Greeny and Schellenberger and the programs they've built that just are just good every year. And obviously, Schellenberger got some fortune, like Minnis coming back and getting Studer back and Cooper and so that that's just a lot of kind of Cooper the goalie, but getting fifth year seniors and Studer and Minnis coming back and just being able to have that just studs in your midfield and in your back end just to dominate. They play in a tough conference, but that almost helps them a lot of times because they beat some of those teams and then they go to the tournament. So they kick off. They'll probably play. Well, they'll probably play right after we record again. Or so what is it? Oh no. When is their first one? Oh yeah, Thursday. So that would be the next day. Now they're playing Michigan. So that
which we're not going to get to watch because we'll be out at dinner, and plus like it costs a fortune to get the big 10 plus
the big
package.
Yeah. So yeah, they funny thing is, yeah, that's who they played last year in the tournament and lost to. So that'll be a nice matchup. Looking for revenge.
Yeah.
Or, I'm sorry, not who they lost in the tournament last year. Who will be 17? Obviously, never mind. But they no, fuck, it was a Big Ten team.
I'm trying to remember.
Fuck.
Hold on, I'm looking on the website so that I can save this segment. Come on, 2021. Damn it! This is great radio right here.
Yeah, of course. This is, if anyone listens to the podcast, this happens all the time. Come on, you know. Oh, Tennessee in Michigan. They lost to Tennessee in Michigan. That
right.
was
in
fun.
Michigan.
Yeah, that was why it was on my brain. It was in Ann Arbor where they lost to Tennessee. So which I watched that game at the Cougs. I should have remembered more. Or maybe I shouldn't have.
Yeah. So it wasn't very memorable.
But yeah, it should be a great matchup to start the year. Michigan's number 17 in that same poll.
Yeah, they're number 9 in a different poll.
Yeah, number 9 in a different poll. So it
pretty
should be
exciting.
Yeah. So yeah, that should be fun. You know, chance for a huge win just right off the bat. And it'll be tough. They're on the road, but you know, this team, this program is a program that can get those wins now.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they are, I mean, you mentioned how good they are, you know, sort of like in defense, right? I mean, you're dealing with Manis, you're dealing with, Studer, and then Nadia Cooper could be one of the top goalkeepers in the whole Pac-12. And then, you know, you think about up front, obviously you lose Elise Bennett, and that's a really big deal. But
who's been crushing it in NWSL,
who's,
by the way.
Yeah. For Kansas City.
Kansas
right?
City,
Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. So Grayson Lynch, you know, still a sniper there. And then, you know, the player I think that I'm maybe most excited about is Margie Detrezio. You know, she started to really come on toward the end of last season.
She had some huge goals.
Yeah, I think she could be a real force. She's a tall forward. She's 5'9", strong on the ball, fast. I think that she could be one of our, like really almost sort of maybe potentially step in kind of seamlessly into, the vacancy by Elise Bennett. I mean, she basically filled that role last year when Bennett was hurt. And I think she's poised to take a huge step forward. So yeah, team is still sitting pretty, looking really, really good as far as, what they might be able to do going forward. And I'm also super excited about Mackenzie Frimpong Ellertson too. She's as a midfielder winger type.
She's fun.
She's fun too. So still super excited about what they can do.
Yeah, she stretches the defense, and still you look at Trinity Rodman nominated for the Ballon d'Or.
Yep.
Ballon d'Or. I don't know how you pronounce it. The award for the best soccer player on the planet. As a 20-year-old, meaning she probably still would have been at Wazoo if she had been playing.
Yep.
I'm just thinking like multiple national championships, but whatever. I'll get over it someday. Fucking COVID. Also, I know this has been my gaffiest episode, I think. I will say I had to look up who played the Bengals in the Super Bowl the other day, this year. I don't know, maybe like getting married and like having like job turmoil and stuff like in a year just kind of saps your brain. And then also having a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old just kind of saps your brain of like remembering anything, even things that were important to you at one time.
Yes.
So yeah, I was like, who did the Bengals play in the Super Bowl? I was just like, I don't even remember. I remember that the Bengals were in the Super Bowl, but I don't remember who the other team was. The team that won.
There's only so much room in your brain, man.
The team
There's
with
only so much room
the
in your
team
brain.
with a kid from the same hometown as me, and I could not remember. Whatever. There's only so much room in your brain, so maybe I'll get back to it next year when I don't have a wedding and hopefully a better job, because got that coming. Only 7 more days at my current job. Very excited. Woohoo! And then tomorrow, Jeff, and finally everything's official. Background check's cleared. All good.
Yes.
So that'll make them steaks at Cornell Browder even better tomorrow. So
yes.
So yeah, we're good. I've already started my onboarding paperwork. It's all good.
Yes.
Yeah. So all exciting stuff. But yeah, and hopefully, I just have more brain cells next year to devote to remembering stupid crap. Because I want that. I want that in my life. I like knowing random shit. I don't like forgetting random shit. I like remembering random shit. But yeah, so I think this could be a short one, Jeff. We're an hour and 10 in.
Yeah.
But next week we'll come through. We'll do our
next week will probably be pretty mega.
Next week by week football preview. We'll do our what we've done the last few years is we go game by game and set our odds, and then we come to the end and figure out how many wins based on those probabilities. And that's always a fun exercise for us. I don't know if it's fun for y'all, but Jeff and I like it. So yeah, that'll be fun. I'll got to read up on this football team we have, so I can make judgments, and other football teams.
Yes.
Oh yeah. All I know is that I want the football season to start. Because it will be fun. Yeah. So we'll do that next week. That'll be fun to think about actual games. We try to delay that as long as possible. But we cannot delay it anymore. So that'll be the crux. It'll probably take up most of the episode next week. And if you listen to this episode, then you are a diehard. I'll tell you that much.
Yes.
And if you listen to it, despite me, just think of Jeff. He's been so good. Rate us 5 stars. And definitely subscribe. Leave a comment about how Jeff is so good at doing this. And remember the one time we had Ken Palmer on? Come on, that's 5 stars.
Yeah.
And then we should have our old buddy John on soon.
We should.
Yeah, and then do that. You can follow me on Twitter at the Craig Powers. You can follow. You can see some pictures of Butch at the wedding if you're interested in that. And you can follow Jeff at Pod versus Everyone. I haven't mentioned this in a while. You can send us an email. No one's sent us an email since like March. At podcastversuseveryone@gmail.com. That versus being just VS. You can follow me on TikTok at Craig W. Powers and Instagram. Very exciting things. I post on there sometimes. I guess that's all the plug stuff. And so with that, I'll say, go Cougs, Jeff.
Go Cougs, Craig. Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Still get vaccinated.
Still do it. And hey, let me get my next one.
Yeah.